new member here, but there has been extensive opportunity to debate the merits of programs, and unfortunately, we've had person after person from the previous administration come here, literally lie to Republicans and Democrats to our faces about the programs that they said they weren't doing, that they were doing. No, they don't exist. No, these slide decks don't exist. No, we weren't expanding atheism in Nepal or in other countries. And then we would get the phone calls after the hearing saying, sorry, we were wrong about that. We were, in fact, doing that. And, sorry that we spent the last however long denying these things that we were doing it, but never apologizing. And never, never saying this is something that we shouldn't have been doing. This is not true diplomacy. These are just the facts of what has taken place prior to your arrival here. And it's a lot of what brings us to where we are today is the fact that there has not been oversight at the State Department, and there has not been a comprehensive State Department reauthorization, unfortunately, which is really allowed these programs to continue, whether it's atheism in Nepal or drag shows in Ecuador or transgender job fairs in Bangladesh or, take your pick of the thousands of programs that, unfortunately, the State Department is wasting American dollars on. Representative Lawler, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I want to thank you for holding this hearing today. And certainly as this committee gets about its important work, as chair of the Middle East and North Africa Subcommittee and with oversight over M-Branch, I certainly am committed to and focused on the importance of a State Department reauthorization. I think the fact is this has been a failure on the part of Congress for many years in both parties to actually reauthorize the work of the State Department to provide the level of oversight that is necessary. And sadly, prior administrations have refused to cooperate. We've had multiple hearings where we have asked administration officials for information. We had Samantha Power here, for instance, as head of USAID, and asked her numerous questions and no answers provided about expenditures and programs that USAID was conducting itself. So this hearing is immensely valuable, but obviously the work that we are undertaking is important. Right now, the Foreign Service Institute is not a degree-granting institution, unlike many of its service-related counterparts. What would be the benefits of accrediting FSI, and why has this not previously been pursued, and what challenges might, in fact, persist here? Leave it open to any of you to engage.
I'll start with that. I never thought of that as and of course the military does do that with their programs, but they're very different programs. The Command and General Staff Schools, the law colleges, these are year-long programs. They're very academic. They're very focused on the core skills of the profession. The Foreign Service Institute, aside from its superb long-term language training, which is in a separate category, basically does short tradecraft courses. In fact, my main criticism with it is, other than the language training, most of it could be also offered to the Department of Transportation. It's all about processy, managerial, get along with each other stuff. There's almost no training in the diplomatic tradecraft. There's almost no diplomatic history, the other things. If you go to any military college or any military...
Would you push to actually ensure that it engages in that?
Yes, I was actually did a 6-month course once when we had it briefly modeled on the military 40 years ago. We then got rid of it. If we took a look at how the military does it and those kinds of courses that build long-term expertise in our profession, certainly they should be accredited.
I think the importance of language training for our diplomats who will be interfacing with their foreign counterparts daily cannot be understated. Foreign language training is one of the most crucial aspects of FSI's mission, as you mentioned. How thorough is the foreign language training at FSI, and what can they do better to better equip our foreign service officers?
I think the language program there is excellent. I'm sure everything can use a little bit of reform and making sure it's up to date. But I think it's one of the best things FSI does. I would just not take your time, but I would follow up on what Jim said, and where I think FSI falls down is making, not giving us necessarily in the Foreign Service the skills we need to do tomorrow's job. It tends to be backward-looking, and the management stuff is very weak. Most people in encounters with FSI during the course of their career is little sort of computerized modules on things that are important but routine, like how to keep your security, your computer safe on security grounds, and how to make sure you're living up to ethics rules. Whereas we need to understand better our core function of diplomacy.
Mr. Hale, can you just describe how the Bureau of Counterterrorism's efforts integrate with broader national security strategies led by the National Security Council or other agencies?
Yeah, I think it was founded in the early 70s. It's one of those examples of an important international activity in which the State Department doesn't actually have the lead. Our domestic agencies have that, and they have their own relationships overseas, which are very important, intelligence and law enforcement and security. But it's very important that we have someone who's helping to coordinate that, make sure our embassies are on point, doing everything possible to defeat terrorism, and that they're at the table in their interagency discussions here in Washington, and I think they're well staffed to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Lawler.